Hi, my name is Sam, and I'm going to tell you about my life in the USA. It's a story about new beginnings, challenges, and learning to adapt. Let's begin. I'm 23 years old, and I moved to the USA a few months ago. Back home, I lived in a small town where life was simple. Moving to a new country was a big decision, but I had a dream to study, work, and create a better life for myself and my family. When I arrived, everything felt new and exciting, but also overwhelming. The tall buildings, busy streets, and fast-moving cars were nothing like my hometown. I moved into a small apartment with 3 other students. It wasn't perfect, but it was my first home in this big country. On my first day, I decided to go grocery shopping. The supermarket was massive. Back home, we had small shops with just a few items. Here, there were hundreds of choices for everything: bread, milk, even cereal. I spent over an hour walking through the aisles, reading labels, and trying to figure out what to buy. At the checkout counter, the cashier smiled and said, "Hi, how are you today?" I wasn't sure how to respond. In my country, people don't ask that casually. I smiled back and said, "I'm good, thank you." Every day brought new challenges. I had to learn how to use the subway, understand American accents, and manage my time between studying and working. Everything was so fast-paced here. At night, I would call my family. "How is it going?" my mom would ask. "It's tough, but I'm learning," I'd reply. My parents always encouraged me. "Take it one day at a time," they said. "You'll get used to it." To improve my English, I joined a beginner's class. My teacher, Ms. Johnson, was very kind. She helped us practice speaking and listening. I also met other students from different countries. We all shared the same struggles: missing home, learning English, and adapting to life in the USA. One evening after class, I sat by the window in my room, looking out at the city lights. I felt both lonely and hopeful. I thought, life here is hard, but I know I can do it. This is just the beginning of my story. And that's how my journey started, full of challenges, but also hope and determination. After my first few weeks in the USA, life started to feel a little easier. I was learning how things worked and slowly getting used to the busy streets and fast-paced lifestyle. But there was still one thing missing. I didn't have any friends. One day, during my English class, our teacher, Miss Johnson, announced, "Tomorrow, we're having a conversation practice session. Everyone will work in pairs." The next day, I was paired with a guy named Carlos. He was from Mexico and had moved to the US 6 months ago. At first, we were both a little shy, but soon we started talking about our lives. Carlos shared his story of working at a restaurant and how he missed his family back home. I told him about my struggles with finding a part-time job and how confusing everything still felt. "You'll get used to it," Carlos said with a smile. "It just takes time." We exchanged phone numbers and decided to meet up after class. That weekend, Carlos invited me to a small gathering with some of his friends. It was my first social event in the USA, and I was nervous. But everyone was friendly and welcoming. They spoke slowly, helping me understand the conversations. For the first time, I felt like I belonged. Meanwhile, I kept looking for a part-time job to support myself. After weeks of searching, I finally got hired as a cashier at a local cafe. The work wasn't easy, but I enjoyed meeting new people every day. My manager, Susan, was kind and patient, and she often corrected my English politely. One afternoon, an elderly customer came to the counter. She smiled warmly and said, "You're new here, aren't you?" "Yes, ma'am," I replied. "I moved here recently." "Well," she said, "welcome to the neighborhood. You're doing great." Her words made my day. Small moments like these gave me confidence and reminded me why I had come here. As weeks turned into months, I became more comfortable with life in the USA. I started trying new foods, like burgers and pizza, and learned to navigate the city using public transport without getting lost. I also joined a community group that helped newcomers adjust to life in the city. Through this group, I met people from all over the world: India, China, Brazil, and more. We shared tips, laughed at our struggles, and supported each other. Looking back, I realized that the hardest part wasn't learning the language or figuring out the city. It was believing in myself. And with every new experience, I grew a little more confident. Life in the USA was still a journey, but now it felt like a journey I could handle. After a few months, I started feeling more settled in the USA. I had a routine: working at the cafe during the day, attending English classes in the evening, and spending weekends with my new friends. Life was still busy, but I was beginning to feel confident. One evening, during our English class, Ms. Johnson asked us to talk about our dreams. "What do you want to achieve while you're here?" she asked. When it was my turn, I said, "I want to get a good job, help my family, and maybe start my own business someday." After class, Carlos and I talked about our goals. He wanted to open his own restaurant, and I told him I dreamed of working in the technology field. "You're great with people, Sam," Carlos said. "Why not find a job where you can grow your skills?" His words stayed with me. The next day, I started looking for opportunities beyond the cafe. I updated my resume with the help of a career counselor at the community center and began applying for entry-level positions in tech companies. It wasn't easy. I faced rejection after rejection, but I didn't give up. One day, I received a call from a company that specialized in software sales. They were looking for someone who could connect with clients and explain their products in simple terms. The interview was nerve-wracking, but I gave it my best. A week later, I got the job. Working in the tech field was a big step for me. The first few weeks were tough. I had to learn new tools, adapt to office culture, and improve my communication skills. But I was determined. My manager Emily was supportive and encouraged me to ask questions. She even suggested I join a public speaking club to boost my confidence. As time went on, I started excelling in my role. I enjoyed meeting clients and helping them understand how our products could solve their problems. One day, during a team meeting, Emily said, "I'd like to recognize Sam for his hard work and dedication. He's been a great addition to our team." Hearing those words made me realize how far I'd come. Outside of work, I continued to focus on my personal growth. I enrolled in an online course to learn more about technology and attended networking events to meet professionals in my field. I also began saving money to support my family back home. The first time I sent money to my parents, my mom called me in tears. "We're so proud of you, Sam," she said. Her words motivated me even more. Chasing my dreams in the USA wasn't easy, but every challenge taught me something new. Step by step, I was building the life I had always dreamed of. Years of hard work and determination started to pay off. My role in the tech company grew, and I was promoted to a team leader. I now managed a group of young professionals, guiding them the same way my manager had once supported me. But my biggest milestone came when I was able to save enough money to bring my family to the USA. Watching them step off the plane was one of the happiest moments of my life. My parents hugged me tightly, and my sister, now a university graduate, said, "We're here because of you, Sam." With my family by my side, I felt unstoppable. But I didn't stop dreaming. I wanted to give back to the community that had helped me so much when I first arrived. I started volunteering at the same community center where I had learned English. I taught newcomers how to navigate life in the USA, how to find jobs, use public transportation, and adapt to the culture. I wanted them to feel less alone, just as Carlos, Ms. Johnson, and so many others had made me feel. One day, the director of the community center approached me with an idea. "Sam," she said, "you've inspired so many people here. How about starting a mentorship program?" The idea excited me. I worked with the center to create a program that matched experienced immigrants with newcomers, helping them adjust to life in the USA. The program grew quickly, and I was proud to see how it made a difference in people's lives. Looking back, I realized that success wasn't just about earning money or getting promotions. It was about helping others and creating opportunities for them to succeed. Now, I often speak at events, sharing my story with others. I tell them, "When I first came here, I had nothing but hope and determination. If I can make it, so can you." Life in the USA taught me that challenges are opportunities in disguise. With hard work, kindness, and support from others, anything is possible. Did you enjoy Sam's inspiring story of adapting to life in the USA and chasing his dreams? If you want to improve your English while enjoying heartwarming and motivating stories like this, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Learn English through stories that teach vocabulary, grammar, and life lessons. Perfect for listening practice, English speaking improvement, and building your confidence.